Yo, so I just asked the lifeguard if I could bring a kayak or if anyone can bring a kayak out here. I got my answer. He said, yeah, you can bring a kayak out here. Oh my gosh. I'm going to bring a kayak out here to the beach. I'm going to do it. Oh man. I'm going to bring my kayak to the beach. I'm going to do it. He just jumped in the water. The lifeguard just pulled up and he was like, "Let's go." And he jumped in the water like nothing to it, like it's nothing to it. You have no idea how that has changed my world. I literally have a kayak. I've been trying to get out and use it, and now I've got confirmation. He said, "Yeah, yeah, you can do it. Come on out. Bring your kayak, of course." Sweet. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I'm starting to enjoy life in California, life in Los Angeles. I mean, I am actually on vacation, so I can actually, you know, attempt to do these things. If it were the work week, then it would be like, well, only if you were dedicated to the activity, only if you were dedicated like, hey, I'm gonna spend my Saturday on the beach. Only would it then be, you know, possible because it's gonna take time. You gotta you gotta drive here. You've got to transport the kayak to the beach. You got to be prepared. You got to go out into the water, kayak, and then come back. Come back. You know what? Okay, here's the challenge now. To come out here with the kayak, I'm gonna have what is it, like a dolly, a trailer. I'm gonna hitch my kayak to these wheels, and I'm gonna wheel it out here, pull it out here. So while I'm out on the water, I'm gonna need somewhere to leave my things, my belongings. So that's just one thing for me to think about. Unless I come out here with my wife, well then that's gonna be different. That's gonna be pretty cool. She'll be watching me. I'll be like out in there, out in the water, you know, paddling and stuff. Oh man, that'll be crazy cool. The lifeguard said, "Yeah." So it's official, y'all. I got it. I understand what to do. I understand what to do now. It's just a matter of getting out there and doing it. Yeah, that might be pretty cool. You know what? Someone might be interested in doing it too, and they might see that I have a kayak and say, "Hey, I want to rent it." I'll be like, "Yeah, sure, $50. Let's go." $50, man. Sign a waiver, have them sign a waiver, do a video, maybe a video contract, and say on my phone, say, "All right, I I state your name. I'm so and so, and I assume all responsibilities for this activity of riding his kayak or blah 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 blah." Like, all right, cool. I'm not responsible, so here, take my kayak, my life vest, and enjoy yourself. Oh, and as I said, I assume no responsibility for you. So if you lose that, or if you lose those paddles out there, I won't be coming after you to help you find it or retrieve it. So you have to be responsible. All right. Do you know why we say barking up the wrong tree? Barking up the wrong tree means if you complain or protest about something without good reason or put the blame for something on the wrong person, you are barking up the wrong tree. But where does that saying come from? The saying comes from the practice of raccoon hunting. Raccoon hunting in America, which has to be done at night when the small furry animals are about. Dogs chase the raccoons and guide hunters to where they have seen them try to hide in branches. Okay, where they have seen the raccoons try to hide in branches. But sometimes in the dark, the dogs make a mistake and bark up the wrong tree. So that's what it came from, raccoon hunting. This is interesting. Do you know why we say back to square one? All right, back to square one, right? So, more than 50 years ago, yes, 80 years ago or more, all right, people would listen to the radio and they would listen to the commentator describe the game that they were watching, all right? Now, the people who are listening at home would have in front of them they'd sit at a table and they'd have a board or they'd have a diagram of the field on which the game was being played, okay? And then the diagram of the field had a grid, and each box on the grid was numbered, right? So square one was where the game began or where the goalie was. I don't know. All right, well, this is the explanation right here. Back to square one. This means that a plan has been abandoned and you are starting again from the beginning. To start again from the beginning. It comes from the early days of radio commentaries on football matches. Football. Before the likes of Brian Moore or John Motson. These are sportscasters I don't know of before my time. To make it easier for the listener to follow the game, a diagram of the pitch was published, divided into squares, and the commentator would continually refer to which square the ball was in. The goalkeeper was in square one, and if the ball was returned to him by a defender to start a fresh attack, it was back to square one. Okay, they say football here. By football, I think they mean soccer. Or do they mean American football? You know, with the pigskin. I don't know. One more for you. Sour grapes. Scot free. Can I get sour grapes? Sour grapes. When you have desperately tried to get something but failed at it, you desperately tried to get something but failed at the last moment. You will want to hide your disappointment. The most common way to do that is to pretend that you were not really all that interested in the first place. That's known as sour grapes. The saying comes from Aesop's ancient Greek fable about a fox drooling over bunches of grapes in a vineyard. After exhausting himself by leaping up over and over again trying to reach them, he eventually gives up and slinks away. The fox tries to cover his frustration by saying, "They're as sour as crabs anyway." Sour grapes. So the fox can't get to the grapes, so he says, I bet they were sour anyway. As sour as crabs. We're on the beach. I haven't seen any crabs. If I get closer to the water, I'm pretty sure I'll see some crabs. You have to dig into the ground, dig into the sand. Remember that when we were kids? I remember that. All right, here's one last thing. Aesop. Aesop's fables. They say Aesop was Greek. Aesop's fables are Greek stories. Hello, the Greeks got their stories from Africa. The Greeks got their stories from Africa. So, Southwest, y'all. Southwest Airlines. So that's 143. One out of four. 1 to 3. See, I didn't follow sports, so I don't know how to do the score. I got one. All right. There have been four airplanes that flew by. I got one of those airplanes. So 1 to 3, one dash three, or is that 1 out of 4? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me in the comments below. You tell me what it is. Yeah, but Aesop. Aesop was from. Aesop was Ethiopian, y'all. Ethiopian. Aesop's fables. Aesop was an Ethiopian, man. And by Ethiopian, that means he was I think that's United. It's kind of a cloudy day. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. That's a United Airlines flight. So that's two. Is that 2 for 5? 5 total airplanes have passed by that I noticed. I was distracted reading and I noticed only, I think, 5 airplanes, but 2 of them I was able to guess. Southwest and then now United. 2 for 5. All right, y'all. Aesop was Ethiopian, and by Ethiopian meant just a black man. It meant an African. That's what Ethiopian meant, because Ethiopian was Greek. Ethiopia is a Greek term. Ethiop. It means burnt skin. That's what it means. Imagine that. So Aesop was Ethiopian. You never knew that, right? You always thought it was Aesop was a white boy, was a Greek dude. But the Greeks got all of their information from Africa, yo. And they just flipped the script and said, oh, he was like us. They took the story from Africa and flipped the script and said he was Greek like us. No, he wasn't. He was African, always African. I don't think the Greeks meant anything by that. They were just personalizing the story, but everything was lost in translation, which is sad. Everything was lost in translation. Peace and blessings from iSee109 on the beach here, Los Angeles, California.